Yeah, but she was sitting in the audience, so I don't know. Could be different tonight. We'll see how that flies.
You haven't even called us to order, we're already a mess.
All right.
Aren't we always?
That said, we're live. Let's open up this special town meeting for June 27th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're up, Twyla.
Roll call. Counselor Albert.
Here.
Counselor Kobe.
Here.
Counselor Crawford.
Here.
Counselor Lund.
Here.
Counselor Ward.
Here.
Counselor Crafts.
Here.
And Counselor Brunel.
Here. Next item.
Good news and recognition.
Has anybody got anything they'd like to share?
Main Street got paved today.
See?
Part of it. Part of it.
Moving-
Minus the
Enough for me.
burnout
Yeah, minus the burnout.
Minus the burnout.
already.
The hip-hop music.
Yeah.
I know we had a fan on the council, but apparently
Yeah.
that was playing. So. All right. Anything else anybody would like to share? Moving right along.
There's no public hearing, so audience participation and response for agenda items.
Anybody would like to address the council on anything on the agenda for tonight? Please step forward. Seeing no movement in the room, moving right on.
Under consent agenda, any counselor can wish to have any item removed, and they may do so now. Order 2017-164 to approve the accounts payable and payroll warrants 152 and 153.
I make the motion.
Any second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Next item, Twyla?
Under council orders, ordinances, and resolutions, Order 2017-165 to set a public hearing date for a hearing regarding 10 Union Street under dangerous building subchapter, which is subchapter 4 of 91 of Title 17 of the Maine State Revised Statutes on July 18th, 2017.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Thank you, Twyla. Moving on.
Order 2017-166 to set a public hearing date for a hearing regarding 10 Congress Street under dangerous buildings subchapter, which is subchapter 4 of 91 of Title 17 of the Maine Revised Statutes on August 1, 2017.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Discussion, refresh memory, 10 Congress. Where are we talking?
That was an old building that got demolished and left, and it hasn't been taken care of, and they tried to set it on fire, and that didn't work. So there's like a heap of building just located on that property that needs to be removed.
Okay. Okay. Any other
Not
questions?
actually a building, but it's
But the remains
of
to be able to address
Right.
what's there.
Yep.
Okay. I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Next item?
Is Order 2017-167 to adopt the 2017-18 municipal budget resolution.
You should have a revised resolution in front of you that added signature pages, and maybe not. Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah, no, it's there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
It's there.
sorry about that.
And the actual capital improvement. The municipal budget's been updated based on the last council meeting where we added wages and benefits for a police officer for our share of the grant, if we should be successful in obtaining the grant. And by the time we hear about if we are successful or not and go through the hiring process, we figure it won't be until January 1st before we hire somebody. So our 25%, it's really half of that 25% is what we put in the budget, a little over $8,000. So now the increase is $204,880 over last year. And then also you're gonna be voting on is the wastewater treatment plant budget tonight. And due to the work that we want to do in the very near future, and because we're applying for grant and loan to do a great big sewer project, to get a lot of the sewer work done, we need to increase our sewer rates. So we haven't had a rate increase since 2011, which was 3.88%. That was the increase at that time, and then before that, it was 2008, and we had a 14.44% increase. And in 2006, we had a 13.92% increase. This increase that we're proposing to go into effect at the new fiscal year will cover the actual proposed budget. Will give us about 6,000 more in revenue than what our budget is. So that's getting us towards what we need for debt payment on that loan when we get to that point. It's not gonna cover it, so we're gonna be seeing increases probably for the next 2 years after this. But that's a result of not having any increases since 2011. What we probably should have been doing was doing incremental increases every single year, 1 or 2% maybe, just to keep up so that we have the money to do the work.
invest in the infrastructure instead
That's
of
right,
looking at
and that's-
$8.3 million all at once.
Yeah.
For the public's sake, this goes back to a workshop that we had this spring earlier on, and ultimately, the folks who advised, I think it was Oliver?
Over, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was pronouncing it right. I think that their recommendation in order for us to get that grant money at a more significant grant money, we had to have catch-up made as far as our rates because we were so far behind, and if we left the rates where they were, we wouldn't get any of the grant money, which ultimately would help us rebuild the infrastructure, which is in dire need, as evidenced just a couple weeks ago when we had a couple of breaks that really taxed our current crews and our resources. So,
And the thing of it is, we have to do the work.
Yeah.
And we might as well get grant money, and the more work you do, the more grant money you get. So we had a meeting yesterday with rural development, and we should know probably within 2 or 3 weeks what that ratio is gonna be, grant versus loan. And even when we get the rates up in the next 2 or 3 years, rural development told us that our rates at that point are still gonna be below what the average is around the state,
and
because they're so low now.
the thing that, biggest takeaway for me from that workshop about this was the fact that we were praised as a community for really putting time into our treatment facility, updating their equipment and staying on top of them. And the fact that we made infrastructure investments as a community on those areas, they actually praised us for that because they didn't see that in other communities. So that just goes back to these other communities have higher rates than we do, and they're not keeping up on their maintenance. We've had consistently lower rates, and we've stayed on top of this by being creative with how we budget.
Exactly.
So it's only going to make it easier for us to fix the infrastructure problems that we have if we're doing this incrementally anyway. Makes
Right.
sense. It's good investment in our community, even though we don't just necessarily see it 'cause it's underground, out of sight, out of mind sort of thing.
Right. But you do when there's a main break like what
Oh.
we had just recently, and when it affects certain people,
When
they
you see it,
know
it's too late.
It's just like a water main break. It's like,
Do you know off the top of your head when the last increase was before 2011?
2008.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, there's a sheet that
That's
I
only
passed
twice
out
in the
front
past
of
10
you.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2008. Mine only goes back to 1989. I passed all the rest out. I think yours goes back further. But, yeah.
Okay.
So-
It's 9 in like 30 years.
Yeah. So, we have the budget resolves in front of you. I don't know if you want to
We have a plan. Twyla's going to put it in
do
motion.
perfect.
All right,
Go
so
for it.
your motion would be to move to adopt the 2017-18 municipal budget totaling $8,812,169 as follows. For general government, Department 1, total $1,541,179. For public safety, Department 2, total $2,331,902. For public works, Department 3, total $2,676,213. For public services, Department 4, total for public services budget, $894,560. And for general assistance, county tax, economic development, abatements, debt service and bonds, Department 5-9, the total would be $1,368,315.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a
Second.
second. Roll call vote.
And Counselor Ward,
Yes.
Counselor Brunel,
Yes.
Counselor Colby,
Yes.
Counselor Crawford,
Yes.
Counselor Lunt,
Yes.
Counselor Albert,
Yes.
and Counselor Crafts.
Yes.
Order passed, 7-0. The next item would be Order 2017-167B, the Budget Expenditures and Estimated Revenue Resolution. Be it ordered that the municipal budget for the town of Lisbon for the fiscal year commencing on July 1, 2017, and ending on June 30th, 2018, be and hereby is adopted with a total expenditure of $8,812,169, balanced with a total of $3,072,998 in estimated revenue. A summary of the appropriations is attached to the resolution as Exhibit A. A summary of the estimated revenue is attached to this resolution as Exhibit B.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Next order, 2017-167C, to set the due date for taxes and interest. Be it ordered that the assessor of the town of Lisbon be and hereby is directed to assess a tax upon all real estate in Lisbon and liable to be taxed therein, and to assess the owner of personal estate liable to be taxed therein on the first day of April 2017 AD, and in accordance with the provisions of the state of Maine in such cases, made and provided, make perfect lists under her hand of such assessments, and commit the same to the collector of taxes of the town of Lisbon on or before the first day of July 2017. All taxes assessed as above and committed to the collector shall be due on July 1, 2017, that having set the date on which the first installment of taxes shall become due, to wit, July 1, 2017. Any taxes remaining unpaid after September 18, 2016 shall bear interest from September 19, 2016 at a rate of 7% per annum. Said interest to be added to and become a part of said taxes, that having set the date on which the second installment of taxes shall become due, to wit, July 1, 2017. Any taxes remaining unpaid after March 15, 2018 shall bear the interest from March 16, 2018 at a rate of 7% per annum. Said interest to be added to and become a part of said taxes, and to fix the rate of interest paid for overpayments at 3% per annum.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167D, to apply taxes to the oldest unpaid tax bill. Be it ordered, we, the municipal officers of the town of Lisbon, Maine, upon request of Diane Barnes, tax collector treasurer of said town, hereby authorize and direct said tax collector and treasurer pursuant to Title 36, Maine Revised Statutes Annotated, Section 906, to apply any tax payment received from an individual as payment for any property tax against outstanding or delinquent taxes due on said property in chronological order, beginning with the oldest unpaid tax bill. However, no such payment may be applied to any tax for which an abatement, application, or appeal is pending unless approved in writing by the taxpayer.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167E, collection of taxes in advance. Be it ordered that the tax collector be and hereby is authorized to accept money prior to the date of the 2019 tax commitment in prepayment of taxes at 0% interest, and to ensure receipts for the same. It shall be discretionary with the tax collector town manager to make arrangements through the town of Lisbon tax club policy with any taxpayer for a schedule of monthly payments without interest in such arrangements as they jointly deem necessary.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167F, accept state funds. Be it ordered that the following categories of state funds be accepted during the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2017 and ending June 30th, 2018. The municipal revenue sharing, the local road assistance, the state aid to education, including federal pass-through funds and property tax relief, snowmobile reimbursement money, tree growth reimbursements, general assistance reimbursement, BETE exemption reimbursement, homestead exemption reimbursement, state grant and/or other funds.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second. Take him.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167G, the sewer budget. Be it ordered that the sewer budget for the town of Lisbon for the fiscal year commencing on July 1, 2017 and ending on June 30th, 2018 be and hereby is adopted with a total expenditure of $1,100,427, balanced with a total of $1,107,340 in estimated revenue. A summary of appropriations and estimated revenue is attached to this resolution as Exhibit A. Pursuant to Title 30A, MRSA, Section 3406, and the Town of Lisbon Sewage Ordinance, the Town Council hereby adopts the following rates for the town sewerage works: $6 per 100 cubic foot. The treasurer of the Town of Lisbon is hereby directed to assess sewer service charges on a quarterly basis as determined by the water meter readings. All sewer service charges remaining unpaid after the date which they are due shall bear interest at a rate of 7% per annum. Said interest to be added to and become a part of said sewer service charges.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167H, the tax club policy. Be it ordered that the council moves to adopt the tax club policy, which was adopted in November 2014, was approved and is reapproved as presented.
Need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Order 2017-167I, capital improvement plan. A motion would be to move to approve the capital improvement plan for the Town of Lisbon for the fiscal year commencing on July 1, 2017, and ending on June 30th, 2018, as presented and attached to this resolution as Exhibit C.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I need another second.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody that had a hand in putting together and compiling this budget, and the patience with the left turns and all the conversation and dialogue that we had to get to this point, so, thank you. Moving right on.
Order 2017-168, the Bulletproof Vest Partnership 2017 application.
You want to follow that one, Chief? Come on up.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. I'd like permission to apply for, accept, and initiate use of the Department of Justice's Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program. Basically, the program's been in effect since 1999. And what it does is it allows federal funds to be used towards 50% of the purchase of officers of bulletproof vests. So the town has been involved in the program since its inception, and the current program is expiring as of August. So it's a 3-year program. We're just looking to get back into it. The town's portion of the match, like in the last 3 years, the town used roughly $8,000 to purchase vests, but half of that was covered by the federal government. The other half was covered by forfeiture funds, and that would be our plan for the next 3 years if it's accepted. So we're just looking to be able to apply for the grant again.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions, any discussion, questions?
It sounds like it's mirroring the same program which we all were on board with before, so yeah, I got nothing.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Next item, Twyla?
Other business, council committee reports.
School is up.
No news is good news.
Planning. You want to give an update on that, sir? I wasn't able to attend the last meeting.
Just
No.
say no, Don.
No news, moving on. Thank you, sir. Water,
Nothing.
LDC,
In the holding pattern until July.
Conservation,
Nothing to report.
Recreation.
They put the playground together this coming weekend, this Saturday.
This Saturday, so they're looking
July
for,
1st.
they are looking for volunteers,
12
7
to 15,
a.m.
yeah,
Yeah.
12 to 15
7
volunteers.
a.m. MTM. Anybody's available, they would love to have your assistance. So give Mark a call, and if not, I'll see you there.
Right.
Because somebody called me out.
Yeah,
I gotta work, so.
Know that guy.
Sorry.
Know that guy.
County budget, there's nothing. Library,
Nothing to report.
town councilor, town manager.
Wow! I have nothing to report.
Look at the report, sir. Yes. You haven't-
Nothing to report.
All right, next item on the AT Trails discussion. Who's gonna set that one up?
I think we know who's queuing that one up.
Yeah, he's getting to be frequent flyer. This is 2 meetings in a row.
I won't bother you too awful much. We are asking the council to look over, and maybe adopt the plan that we have. We would like to connect Bowden, and Thompson is gonna connect to Bowden, and Bowden wants to connect to Lisbon through the Borough Road. We've already had meetings with, the Bowden selectmen, and they're gonna have a public hearing on it, and they were very supportive. Our route that we would like to do will be out of the Borough Road. One of them will come down 125 to the compact line, and then go into Charlie Smith's land by Rufus Ham, if everybody knows where he lives. The trail goes out behind that, and follows down and comes out behind Dale Crafts, and comes out on the power line on Wing Street. And they have had permission to put a parking right in the sand pit on the power line. We'll exit the power line directly across the stop sign and ride down Scottsdale. This is where we're gonna need the permission to ride down Scottsdale, the full length to Houston Street. Houston Street will take a right and ride to the end. Vern LaRochelle owns that property at the end of Houston Street, and that goes to Hinckley Street. He is gonna put a driveway in, so we can go to work easier. He has graciously given us permission. Once he puts his driveway in, we can set over and go down to Hinckley Street. Then if we can ride Hinckley Street, get permission to go down Hinckley Street, to the end of Hinckley Street, we will be able to access McDonald's, all things, basically through the traffic lights and everything. We'll be able to access all of that. The other road that I would like you to consider, but not put on, would be Capitol Avenue. But not right now. Maybe we could put it on a plan, because that would be the access when the trails come through. We would access, because we have a right of way to that, up to Capitol Avenue, and that would bring them up to the parking lot. So that would actually be one of the connectors to the railroad bed. And, me and Ryan have worked on the map, and I've got the map, and I can show it to you, but, it's as simple as we can get. I kept it to a minimum of streets. And, it's just, to me, it's the best alternative. It's like the town of Topsom, we've had not so much problems with landowners, but landowners, land that gets sold and this and that, and we're always moving trails, and we're starting to get older, and it's getting harder to move a trail. But, we would like to have you consider it, and, at least on them streets, and then start the process. I will tell you, and I might have some, disagreement on this, but with what the trail work has gotta be done, the existing trails, the ordinance that has to be written and put into effect, public hearings that have to be done, and everything that has to be done, this will probably not be in effect until next year, next summer. And I will tell you a few particulars on what I would like in the ordinance or whatever. I do not want these roads open before June 1st. I want them closed by October 31st. The roads will have a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit on them for ATVs. And now, hopefully the chief can strictly enforce it. Because ATVs don't make a lot of noise with the exhaust, they make a lot of noise with the tires. So the faster you go, the more noise you make. Let me see, the other, I would like, but it would have to be, I don't even know if this would be legal. It's 16 years of age to ride an ATV without a parent. But if it could be in the ordinance, if you're 16 to 18, you have to have a driver's license to be on the public roads. I think that would be a better situation. That way, you're not having the parents saying, yeah, go ahead, so you got a 16-year-old running out. You gotta have a driver's license to drive an ATV on a public road. That is something that I kinda just thought. But, is there anything else that we?
Well, I was kind of wondering if we could ask for, I wanted to know about the ride, and my, on the higher part of Summer Street, Center Street,
that's, well, that could be, this is new to me, so the basic trail, I'm gonna say what we just proposed. And Ryan's got the map drawn out. You can somehow kind of word it so it could be, other things could be added as it went if you did approve this. That's it. Is there any questions from the?
What I'm hearing, and the rest of the council can chime in, is we're talking about agreeing to the concept of a plan that could be a year out in discussion to be able
I'm
to
gonna
flush
be
out the
realistic,
details.
cause, the
Yeah.
trails that have to be done,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while to do it. But we're also waiting on Bowden, cause basically the Burr Road won't have to be put in if they don't, but they seem to be very receptive, really receptive, and they're waiting for a public hearing on it. And after the public hearing, I think that the Burr Road will be open. So that would be the best part for us. And, like I said, down Main Street, I think it's 1,500 feet, and I'm pretty sure from the end of Burr Road to the trail entrance on 125 is 1,500 feet, and we're allowed to ride that anyways. But that's that, and then the rest of it's all property owners that we got permission. So it's just, basically, I think it's 3 streets, the end of the Burr Road, and 3 streets that we need, 3 or 4.
Any other questions that anybody has of this, to at least give them permission to start crafting something that ultimately will hit with us, that's a little more formalized in something in writing to be able to begin the dialogue? I mean,
You said you have a map with you and Ryan. Do you have that here, or can
Yeah,
we get,
I'll
can we
get
get
it,
that sometime? Not tonight? Okay, can we get it as soon as we can?
We don't need it right now.
No, it's
Roger,
okay,
Roger,
it's
we don't
it's
need it
A-okay. I
right
think
now, but-
what the understanding is that we're gonna see a map with a little bit more
Oh, yeah.
detail. That's fine.
right,
We worked on it one day, figured it out, and I, to be honest with you, I did try to keep it to a minimum.
That's
For
what I mean.
the-
I think,
For the first start.
I think you're pretty clear what you're talking about here. I just think it's a lot easier to visualize when you're looking at it, you're saying, this is where we're gonna cross over. It sounds to me like you minimize the exposure to the roads as much as possible. So I think it's easier for me anyway to visualize when I can look at that. You can say, coming in here, going in here, gonna do the park and ride here, and then kind of putting that all together makes it a lot easier to just, I see no problem with it, but I'd like to, you know,
conceptually.
yeah.
Conceptually, to be able to at least begin the dialogue. I'm gonna out our police chief here. I'd like to know what you're thinking on the topic, having heard the presentation as well, please.
Well, to be honest with you, today's the first day I've heard about it, so.
Right.
If we're just talking conceptually, I've got no big issue right off the top, but we got plenty of time to look into it, so, I'd wanna talk to the game wardens, they'd be more along the lines of enforcement on this and look into their laws a little bit better on it, but, since we're just starting the conversation, I have no issue right now.
That was kind of where I was hoping you would weigh in on that, because hearing the comment associated with enforcement, we have enough issues with vehicle enforcement as it is. I don't want to put a dynamic out there for ATV riders. I know you guys are self-policing in that. I don't expect it to be within your clubs and that type of stuff. It's, if you establish it, what I would equate it to is, I have experience in the scout camp. We have an arrangement with snowmobile trails, and it's the people that know that that's trails there that aren't affiliated that are actually become your problem children.
And that was the only thing that kind of piqued my,
Yeah.
ears when I heard that, was we would have a little bit of an issue, trying to enforce.
Being able to maintain enforcement, right.
Yeah, but, we got plenty of time.
To fairly, you're right, to work out the details.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Yes, Roger.
There's one other thing that I wanted to.
Please.
Diane.
Thank you,
One
Chief.
thing I'd like to have in the ordinance is these road openings are gonna have to be examined every year. They're 1 year at a time,
Conditional.
conditional.
So
And
Okay.
that, if you get one
complaint,
person that complains
we
all
could
the
shut,
time, you
it could
throw
be,
that one out.
could be
and-
shut it
yeah.
down.
But if you get a whole bunch of them, then they lose it. It worked in Greenville,
Okay,
and they get it back, and it works real well in Greenville. That I know by
Yep.
experience.
right.
So that was one of the conditions I wanted to put in. That way Diane and maybe Ryan could look over the complaints on, or the police chief, and,
Or
No.
there are none and we move forward.
Right.
Right, okay.
okay? That's all I've got to say.
Anybody else on the topic, having heard dialogue? How about up here? moving right along then.
Next item is audience participation for new items.
Anybody having anything they'd like to bring?
Good evening, Tracy Stuber, Economic and Community Development Director. As you know, next weekend is the 35th anniversary of Moxie Festival. And with that, I am asking council permission. One of the things that we work very hard as a committee, and that is we work with our vendors. These are folks that come in, they pay a fee to set up a booth. With that, that's how we are able to pay for the festival. That is how, along with our sponsors. I would like council to consider and to see if we can have the town clerk issue no permits for yard sales, for any type of other vendor or whatever that would take place during the Moxie Festival time, especially within the route of the Moxie Festival along Main Street, School Street, around the MTM Center. Is because we have people that come in and pay a fee, and it's not fair for someone else to sit up on their front lawn and sell and be part of the festival when they're not part of the festival, nor are they on our insurance. And Cassie can
It was a
add
big
to
issue
that.
last year.
I can't get behind that at all.
It's on their property?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't get behind
If it's on their property, they
come-
still have to come before the town to get a permit.
Right.
They can't just have a sale or whatever without going through the town, because that is an ordinance. What I'm asking council is to,
Consider not being able to allow us to be able to write any passes for that time period.
correct.
They purchased the property on that street.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah, I
saying
guess,
no.
I understand the conflict very clearly. I understand where it's coming from, and it presented some challenge to the committee, and I can appreciate that. However, as a property owner, I don't see how we can say for this weekend and this weekend only, we're gonna cut you out, so that,
I'm gonna get a little more specific on the fact, I don't know if anybody else seen it on social media. The class of 2019 is doing one of their fundraisers, and they're already looking for it. I don't know where the location is. It is timed specifically to get the greater audience associated with that. So you're talking about a graduating class. There is some of those type of things that would be in
But the
that
classes are still required to follow the same suit.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is I'm not sure I would support what we're talking about either for that, because now you're going against the nonprofits to be able to benefit for a specific purpose.
But the nonprofits pay the fee.
Right. And
It's what's
the-
fair
the-
is fair
the-
is what I'm getting
well,
at.
I agree. The question I would also ask of the fact is how many actually have this and aren't registered at all? They don't bother to come in and actually get that permit that they're obviously supposed to do.
Dan, can we get the permit totals from last, I mean, we don't have to have it right this second, but how many permits were requested last year for the Moxie Festival? Yeah,
That time period.
I mean, we don't have to get it right now, just get it together if we could and get that out in an email. I'd like to see how big of an issue this is. I mean, if we're talking about like, it makes sense if I'm gonna have my yard sale when there's, 30 to 50,000 people showing up in your backyard, not a bad time to do it.
Right.
So I just wanna see how many we had last year to see how big this problem is. Let's put some
Or
numbers around it.
to her point.
Was that before
If
the
only 5 people came
permit
forward for
ordinance?
permits, then there was 50 that were actually there were 45 that were unregistered in town.
Well, that's a
That's
different
the
animal
issue.
altogether, different animal altogether.
And I guess, well, and again, I mean, if the ordinance says if they're not coming to
Right.
town and if they don't have the permit or whatever, then they shouldn't be allowed to operate.
Right.
Couldn't agree more. That's why I say that, let's find out how many, I'm just using last year as a litmus test, since that's the problem Chad was talking about. Let's see how many permits we actually issued for last year, and then obviously we can kind of go ahead if we need to talk about ramping up enforcement during this period, then we can talk about that. See if somebody doesn't have a permit, they're just throwing a shingle out. I'm not excited about wasting resources on this, but it has to be done, and I can understand why you guys are coming and bringing it forward, so.
Given the nature of this and there's no other meeting prior to the Moxie Festival, my question is can we coordinate a vote on such an action via email and act on it? So it's either here tonight or we don't.
I'm not comfortable, I mean, we can vote, I know where I'm gonna
I
land.
know, I've, taking the unofficial straw poll, I've heard from at least 4 parties that this would die right where it stands.
Maybe a compromise would be to require anyone who's on the Main Street or School Street would have to pay the same fee that everyone else does if they are getting a permit that weekend. So they could still have a yard sale, but they'd have to pay the same fee that like a vendor would get to set up, because they're kind of taking advantage of that being a free rider otherwise.
That's what their taxes are for.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that, every other week out of the year, the lawn sale fee is this, except for the week of the Moxie, we're gonna jack it up to match the other vendors' fees. I get where you're coming from there, but I just, if I'm doing that, I'm probably gonna say, why? Why am I paying a higher fee for this one week? I understand it's a festival, but I pay my taxes here, why can't? That's my argument for it.
We've heard what was asked. Do we want to take action on this? I need a yes or no one way or the other. We can,
No.
I need one more no. I've heard from 3 camps.
No.
We got our vote.
Okay.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Next item, Dwella.
So there are no appointments. Council communications will be next.
Anybody have anything? I have one. Council, we had Mr. Dan Niesel. We're going to recognize him for 37 years serving on the planning board. And we're going to take care of that in the July timeframe, so I would like to at least make that announcement associated with that, and we can move forward. Did you have something you want to add to that, sir?
Just gonna say, I have ideas I want to share with,
Please. And I know I sent a brief communication out today to be able to at least recognize that part of it for his contribution to the town, so if you've got those, let us know and we can share notes. Thank you. Anything else? Next item, 12.
Is Order 2017-169 to go into executive session for 1 MRSA, Section 405-6A, personnel matters.
And we will be coming back for a vote afterwards, so we'll be, you guys can
coming
stay
back
if you
for a vote?
want. Most likely, right?
I want to make the motion, go in executive session. 'cause
I
we
need a
gotta do that,
second.
don't
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0, and the time is...
You guys can stay if you want, we'll be back.
Somebody's staying here.
Or if they all leave, we don't have to come.
I think we're piling,
What do you say, Don?
grab some water.
It wouldn't have to come.
Thirsty.
You gonna be here somewhere else?
I think we can go in the, tape recorder's still on.
I had about a 45-minute conversation with him. It's easy. It is easy to do.
Well, I think we need to let Hagan take his time to
he
review
felt
it,
there was
and
something
then
coming
we'll
down
work
the
on an ordinance and float it to council, see if that's something that they want a first reading on.